Good day, Andres. I hope I'm saying that right. It looked like Andres. It looked lovely. I don't want to mess it up. So we are about to get into your three shares. Forgive me, my Mercury is natally in retrograde, so I mess my words all up. We are about to get into your three shadows. We are going to be using the archetype deck today, which is actually going to tell you the three characteristics of the shadow that you are dealing with, the shadows, if there are multiple that you are dealing with, just the triplicity, the three layers to the issue. So your shadow is the part of you that has been repressed. And this could go from anything as simple as um, you stop singing because life made you start paying bills, or it could be something more complex, like you stopped speaking up for yourself as much because your parents didn't want to hear what you said all the time. The shadow was just representative of anything that you tucked away of yourself in order to make life here easier for you, in order to create a different persona that you perceived would get you more attention, because that's how we are as people. The goal of this is to pull back together all your pieces. This isn't about tearing them apart or making yourself better or beating yourself up. This is about accepting all parts of you. What has made these shadows come, what has made you repress these parts of you, and you sort of bringing those back into the light on the journey of self-healing, self-integration, because it's not even healing. Healing represents something wrong. This is just uncovering, seeing who you are and all your highs and lows and all that sort of stuff. So without further ado, let's pull for your shadows. I'm going to pull all at one time so we can get them out. And then I'm going to pull for the energy you need to embrace in order to pull that all together for yourself. So let's go. Dear universe, what is the first character trait of Andrese's shadow? One. I'm just going to turn it over all at the same time when I'm done. What is the second characteristic? The second characteristic of Andrese's shadow. All right. Number two. And then last but not least. All right. So the first card we got here for you, the first characteristic of your shadow is the saboteur. This is the part of yourself, self-destructive behavior that undermines your work or the work of others, depending on how good you feel about yourself. For you specifically, this feels like a fear of stepping into your own greatness more so than you being a hater essentially. But you would know, like, this is all about you being completely honest with yourself. The vibe I'm getting from this is that you don't allow yourself to fully embrace your own greatness. You have a sense of an imposter syndrome. You might recognize it in others, and you might be able to gas other people up, but when it comes to you really seeing yourself, you might have sort of an Eeyore thing, like you sort of talk down yourself and you might not even notice that you do it. But if it is something that you don't notice your own greatness, so you start downplaying other people's greatness, that is a possibility. If you don't notice yourself for a very long time, it turns into sort of this thing. So the next trait that you're working on is that of the gambler. Do you find that you take many risks? Do you rely on luck more than your hard work? Do you sort of make it by the skin of your teeth sometimes? Are you aware that you sometimes put yourselves in risky situations? Are you seeking a thrill? Um, I guess what are you afraid of? What is there of yourself that you're afraid of? Because this relates back to how the sabotaging of self and your own greatness here. Um, do you not trust that if you actually put in everything, you're going to get out what you want? Are you at a job you like? Are you in a relationship you like? And I ask that because the next one is the Knight card. This means that there is part of you that is waiting for a knight in shining armor. And sometimes you take less than you should receive in relationships because you are waiting for sort of this person to come along and balance everything for you, to save you. Like, you're waiting for a mate, like everything else does not matter now, because like, hey, as soon as I find my perfect partner, we're going to be great. But that means that sometimes you might put the expectations and the dream on somebody who is not worthy of it. Sometimes you might ignore red flags, or stay in a relationship too long because you so badly want to have this all solved and have this together. So now I'm going to pull for what energy you need to embrace in order to integrate these shadows that are inside of you. What do you need to think through a process to find out why these are trapped in there? Dear universe, what energy does Andrese need to embrace for her shadow integration? Letting go of self-deceit. Were you surrounded by people who did not really see you when you were younger? Were you surrounded with other people who exhibited some of the traits that I have discussed today? Because it appears that there are people who may have lied to you about your own self, about your own worth, who didn't really recognize you. And because of that, now you sometimes lie to yourself about what you are capable of or what you deserve. And that is kind of what's holding you back right now. What you're meant to be doing is healing your heart, working on your heart chakra. Is going to start this for you. There's a lot of damage around your heart and your feelings and your sense of self-love and self-worth. But also, it's time for you to sort of take a trip down the temple path. That what that means is just some time to yourself, some time with nobody else around to reflect on the things that you wanted out of life, the things that you wanted before any of these other situations got in your mind, the relationship that you're in or the relationships that you're attracting. Because in order for that night to come out, because there's a possibility for that night to be there, in order for that to happen, you got to let go of the bad attachment to the things that have happened to you before, any relationship that you know is not it, even though you really want a good relationship, because holding on to that attachment is blocking everything else. This shadow goes deep, girl. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And let me know if you have any questions.